In late 2012, a strange thing happened in the electronics retail world. Two brands that had just collapsed, City and CompUSA, got bought back from the dead, not to be revived as stores, to be quietly folded into a single website. That website was TigerDirect. This isn't just a story about one company failing. It's a story about a company that built part of its business buying up the corpses of its former competitors and then failing anyway. To understand how that happened, we need to go back to where this company actually started, a small software catalog business in Miami in the late 1980s.
TigerDirect began in 1987, founded by two brothers, Carl and Gilbert Fiorentino, along with partners Carlton Norman and Orlando Ramos, in Miami, Florida. It wasn't originally a hardware company at all. The founders' early focus was software. In 1989, they launched a subsidiary called Tiger Software, publishing titles for Windows and early Mac systems. By 1991, under Gilbert Fiorentino's leadership, the company pivoted away from software publishing towards something that would define the rest of its history: mail-order catalogs selling computer hardware directly to consumers. That first pivot actually wasn't smooth. The new hardware catalog model struggled financially, and the company was sold in distress to Global Direct Response, the firm that would soon rebrand itself as Systemax. Under Systemax's ownership starting in 1995, TigerDirect found real footing. In 1996, it launched one of the earliest real e-commerce websites in the entire tech retail space, years before online shopping was the norm.
What followed was genuine, sustained growth. TigerDirect became known for something specific: massive product catalogs, deep discount pricing, and constant flash sales, appealing directly to a growing culture of people who wanted to build their own computers rather than buy one pre-made. Through the late 1990s and 2000s, this DIY PC culture exploded, and TigerDirect rode that wave. It expanded into physical retail stores across the US and Canada, giving hands-on shoppers a place to browse components in person. By the mid-2000s, TigerDirect had become one of the biggest names in computer parts retail in North America, a real rival to Amazon's growing tech category, and to a newer competitor that was about to become its biggest problem: Newegg.
Here's where the story sharpens. TigerDirect didn't just lose to the internet in some vague sense. It specifically lost a very direct battle to one company, Newegg. Both retailers targeted the same core customer, people building or upgrading their own PCs, but they built very different relationships with that customer. Newegg cultivated something TigerDirect never quite managed: a genuine enthusiast community, detailed, trustworthy customer reviews, a reputation among PC builders for fast shipping and reliable stock. TigerDirect's reputation moved in the opposite direction. Customer complaints accumulated over the years: slow shipping, product quality concerns, and more serious incidents. In one case, Dell actually sued TigerDirect, alleging it had sold gray market Dell products while falsely presenting itself as an authorized dealer. Among the exact community TigerDirect needed to keep loyal, serious PC builders who talk to each other constantly on forums and review sites, Newegg quietly became the trusted default. TigerDirect became the fallback option, or the punchline. And this is where the story gets stranger. While losing ground to Newegg, TigerDirect's parent company Systemax was doing something unusual on the side. Systemax had a peculiar side business. When competitors went bankrupt, Systemax would buy up their brand names and intellectual property, not to run the stores, just to own the name. That's exactly what happened with Circuit City after its 2008 bankruptcy and full liquidation. Systemax bought the rights to the name and relaunched it as an online-only retailer. The same happened with CompUSA, another once major electronics chain that had collapsed. Then, in December 2012, Systemax made its final consolidation move, shutting down the standalone Circuit City and CompUSA websites entirely and folding both brands into TigerDirect. For a brief window, TigerDirect wasn't just competing against the memory of its former rivals.
It had literally absorbed their remains. And around this same period, trouble was brewing inside the company itself, trouble that had nothing to do with Amazon, Newegg, or online competition at all. In 2015, TigerDirect's own co-founder, Gilbert Fiorentino, pleaded guilty to a criminal conspiracy charge. His brother, Carl, pleaded guilty to fraud-related charges as well. Prosecutors found the brothers had received more than $9 million in kickbacks and other payments for steering over $230 million in company business toward a supplier in Asia. This wasn't bad market timing. This was the company's own founders allegedly enriching themselves at the expense of the business they had built from a small Miami catalog operation. By the early 2010s, the external pressure was mounting fast too. Amazon and Newegg could beat TigerDirect on price, selection, and increasingly on reputation. In March 2015, Systemax announced the closure of 31 of its 34 remaining North American retail stores, keeping only a handful of locations open. The North American Technology Group, which housed TigerDirect, still generated around $1.7 billion in revenue that year. This wasn't a company that had already become tiny. It was a real business, actively shrinking. Later that year, Systemax sold the TigerDirect brand and related B2B assets to PCM Inc. for roughly $14 million, a fraction of what the brand and the two dead brands it had absorbed had once been worth combined. In 2019, TigerDirect shut down its Canadian operations entirely. Not long after, the consumer-facing website most PC builders remembered simply stopped functioning in any meaningful way. Today, the TigerDirect name technically still exists, buried inside a business-to-business IT services operation. The retailer millions of PC builders once relied on is, for all practical purposes, gone.
So what actually happened to TigerDirect? Part of it is the story you've heard before. A changing market, bigger competitors, a retail landscape that got harder for everyone in the space. But TigerDirect's story has layers most of its competitors' stories don't. This was a company that lost a direct community-driven battle to Newegg, not because it didn't have the products, but because it never built the trust. A company that literally bought up the remains of its dead rivals, City and CompUSA, inheriting their brand recognition, while its own founders were secretly steering hundreds of millions of dollars toward a kickback scheme. It wasn't just outside competition that TigerDirect couldn't survive. It was outside competition combined with the exact same kind of self-inflicted damage that had already killed the very companies it had just acquired. In the end, the company that bought two graveyards ended up building one of its own. If you like this one, next time we're covering another company whose downfall came from inside, not outside. Subscribe so you don't miss it.